Sportsystem.com.
Is there in 3 years? That's right, Kevin. That's right.
We are the only sport in the world besides soccer. Dana White, if he wants to do a UFC Olympics, and if Dana White wants to do a UFC college, if Dana White want to do a UFC World Cup, this can do it right now. We have all over the world, this is the growing sport ever. So Dana White has all this potential. If he wants to commit and do an Olympics, UFC Olympics, I bet everybody's going to love it.
Yeah, Kevin.
They're ready, Kevin.
No complaining. Rashad, I wanted to ask you about a couple comments I saw on Twitter tonight by John Jones. He said, "Nice fight, I'll be ready." And also in response to a question about how he thought you looked, he said, "Same old stuff." Wonder if you can respond.
That's fine. I mean, if it's the same old stuff, then that's probably exactly why he didn't want to fight me the first time. John knows what happens when we train. And he knows if I'm focused and I'm strong and I'm healthy, then he knows he has a fight on his hands. John's a tough guy. John's a champion. But I know where John's weak at, and he knows where I'm weak at. But we'll see who covers those weak areas up first. He has a tough fight with Rampage. You know, Rampage does move like Frankenstein. He's not what he used to be in some areas. But I think if he does catch him, he could put him to sleep.
Rashad, as a follow-up to Kevin's question there, who would you rather see in that fight? I know you're fresh off this one with Tito, but looking forward, if you could have your choice between Bones and or Rampage, which one would you prefer to go after that title?
You know, I would prefer to get it from Jones just because I would love to be the first one to beat him, like really beat him. And, you know, he's so cocky. So cocky. Like, you think I'm cocky, he's real cocky. He's for real cocky. Like, I'm on camera joking around cocky. He's like, go to sleep praising himself cocky. That's how cocky he is. But I mean, like, you know, I would love to teach him a lesson. And, you know, if he make it past Rampage, then I'll get a chance to do that. But like I said, he has a tough fight ahead of him. And if Rampage does his work, then he can actually do something. I think Rampage should come and train in my camp for this fight.
Last questions for Rory. Rory, there's a lot of hype that's beginning to generate behind you. I mean, you hear what GSP says, you hear what Dana White says, you hear what the media says. How do you deal with this at such a young age, with all this focus now starting to follow you?
Yeah, it's a nice compliment, but you know, I got a level head on my shoulders, and I'm just gonna keep training and keep fighting, keep winning, and hopefully putting on good performances that everyone likes.
Danny, can you talk about Constantino's performance as well as Brian's performance, because they did pretty good tonight?
Yeah, no, well, you know, he just won another bonus. And yeah, very tough fight these two had. It was a war back and forth. Looked like Jorge was going to get stopped there. He turned it around, got the top position. It was a good fight against a real tough guy in Jorge Rivera. And I got to say, what John Jones said about seeing the same old stuff from Rashad, I don't know about the rest of you, but I didn't see the same old stuff tonight. I was actually very impressed with his performance. Going to the head, to the body. You know, you very rarely see guys go to the body in MMA. And big sign. I mean, he looked fantastic tonight. You know, a lot of times Rashad's caught a lot of flack for going in there and double legging and putting you against the fence and trying to wrestle. Man, that wasn't a wrestling match tonight. That was a well-rounded mixed martial arts fight. Very impressive. Like I said, I thought there was going to be ring rust. That's what I kept talking about the whole time. If that was ring rust, it's going to be scary to see when he's not rested.
Question for Brian over here. You've had a lot of interesting moments in your career, a very long career, that you just want to check because you beat a guy wearing Speedo, I guess. That has to rank up there as one of the more...
That wasn't a Speedo, man. I don't know what that was. I've seen Speedos before.
And that's the fact, right?
That had to be a custom-made... I don't even know what that was.
But is that the reason why he got the...
But he deserved every dime of the $70,000 that he made tonight.
So, what do you think of that?
You know, it's obviously one of them stories that's going to stick out for a long time, and the longer I fight, the less stories I'm probably going to remember. So hopefully that'll be able to be one I can tell the grandkids and have a laugh about. But I'm a bit surprised he tried to beat me in my own game, the humor, the showmanship, and all that. I know he's been around a long time. I haven't seen him do anything like that. So yeah, I was a bit surprised.
And if you could just put into words, again, you've had a very long career. It took you a very long time to get here, and you got on the card at 127 due to an injury. Now you got 2 wins in a row in the UFC. Can you describe how this feels? Because for a while it looked like you might not get here.
It's a bit surreal. I always knew I could compete with the best guys in the world because I trained with the best guys in the world out in California for 4 years. So to be able to get my chance and actually come out and win my first 2 fights, and I got thrown at the wall and I stuck. They can't get rid of me for a little while. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I've done what I set out to do.
Brian, can you talk about, to your left over here, this was supposedly your first ever training camp because everything was always sort of messed up with all your fights, always on short notice. Can you talk about, because you're sort of, one of your blogs, you're sort of like, I don't know what to do here, that there's so much time to train. Can you talk about that as well as when you were on when Dennis had your back, there were many of us were like, this is not good for Brian, but you survived.
Yeah, I've had 11-year career, 70-some fights. The most notice I've ever had for a fight was probably 6 weeks. And that was a bit of a long time to sit and ponder an opponent and ponder how to train, what to focus on, all that kind of stuff. Well, this one I had about 3 months. I thank you guys for the notice on that one. It was nice to have that security, but man, that was a grind to go through 3 months just thinking, am I doing the right things? If I get a bit injured, you take 2 or 3 days off. It kind of plays on you. Whereas before, I kind of pushed through that a little bit more because I knew I didn't have time to rest. Or here, when I did rest, I felt guilty. Like I said, it's not that I haven't trained my whole life pretty consistent, but to have it all packed in like that, it was a bit stressful. What was the second part of your question?
When he had your back, many of us were thinking, oh, not good for you.
I was just worried about that cup and worried about his uniform malfunctioning, to be quite honest. No, I knew I was fine from there. I've been training with a couple of very, very good black belts in Australia at Dominance Mixed Martial Arts in Melbourne. And every day I let them have mount and I let them have my back. And, these guys haven't, they haven't played that much with the MMA. And I play with them a little bit, and start hitting them. And it's not something they're used to. Towards the end of the camp, they got used to it, but it throws them off. So I had a teammate trained for about a year that fought Hallman in the IFL a long time ago. And he had my teammate's back for a while, and my teammate actually busted Hallman up pretty bad from that position. So when he had my back, I actually kind of remembered that, and I started throwing punches and playing. And I just had to be patient. I wasn't really threatened with the choke unless he bellied me down.
Constantinos, can you talk about your performance and then the ebb and flow of that fight? Because you went from should have been the first fight of the night to on the pay-per-view and had that kind of war.
Obviously, great opportunity to fight in the main card. Now, I'm not really satisfied with the way I performed, but bottom line, I got the fight, I got the decision. I got to go back to the gym and look at my mistakes and work with my coaches and figure out how I'm going to get the next fight. But honestly, I think the nerves got to me. I was very tired, I got tired, and I ended up wrestling with the guy, and that's not me. I'm not a wrestler. I really was planning to keep my distance and exchange with the guy, but I don't really know what happened. I just got stressed out and I stepped too far. I got in, and before I even realized, I was clinching with Rivera, and I had to take him down today. So he's a tough guy. Give him props, but it feels good that I got the first fight out of the way, and hopefully next time I get to fight the way I want to fight.
It had to help your wrestling, though, that you're training with a super heavyweight now in Matt Serra, huh? Is he back there eating?
Question for Dana.
Yeah.
Right here. You went up after the Ortiz fight and you spoke to him. I was just wondering what you told him.
Told him great fight. He fought a great fight, and Tito, like I said, and a lot of the interviews leading up to this fight, it's like Tito was going in for his execution against Ryan Bader. He ends up pulling off not only just a win, but an impressive win, and then goes in there tonight against the #1 contender, Rashad Evans, who, again, I can't say enough good things about how good Rashad looked tonight, and Tito fought an awesome fight, worthy of fight of the night.
Well, thank you. And for Tito, I was wondering, given you were coming off your elation of the Bader fight into this, do you regret kind of doing this now, or how do you feel about it?
My heart hurts. I don't regret it, not at all. I came in and I fought my ass off. I'm a fighter. I love fighting. When I get in that octagon, it's like an animal in a cage. I love it. I inspire other people to be great by the things I've gone through in my life. You gotta understand, I was a young punk kid who was on the street who had parents who were drug addicts and had nothing to achieve to in life. And I've surpassed the things that I've never imagined. I'm a legend in this sport. I'm an icon in this sport. I've helped pave the way for a lot of these fighters who are up here to get what they got. And if it wasn't for Dana Lorenzo giving us this opportunity to fight this main stage, I wouldn't do it. And when I step in that cage I fight, I put my heart on the line. And sometimes my heart is bigger than my body. And tonight it was. You know, like I say, I take nothing away from Rashad. He was the better fighter. I came in, I fought my ass off. I almost pulled off a couple submissions. He got away from him. He knew the defense for it. Hit me with a couple good shots. Knee to the body. It hurt. I mean, I tried to get my body up, and it's like my mind was saying get up, and my body wasn't doing it. And the referee said protect yourself, and I was trying to put my hands up, and I was trying to get up, and my body wouldn't get up. My heart says get up, my mind says get up, but your body don't react to it. Like I said, Rashad was a better fighter tonight, and I put my ass on the line, and I don't regret anything. I don't take anything back. I just said thank you, Dana, thank you, Rashad, and thanks to Zuffa for giving this job. And I put out a performance, man. Like I say, I put my heart out there. Sometimes my heart is bigger than my body.
Gymgrossisten.com